Hi there, my name is Tyler Haste, and this is my Pecha Kucha presentation on the wonderful and awe-inspiring subject of comic book ads. I chose to present on this widely glossed over form of advertising because I believe that these ads provide a detailed snapshot as to what the advertising world was like in the time that the comic was produced. What you see here is 8 comics from my personal collection. The reason that I chose DC and Marvel titles from the 70s and 80s is that during this time they were the leading distributors in popular comics. This meant that the issues were often full of ads that featured nearly anything you could possibly think of. So here are the top 16 ads I could find. Alright, so number 1 is a fairly typical ad for a line of DC action figures, but I found it odd that you can clearly see the Superman figure being held by someone, but he's punching a drawing of Lex Luthor. Why not just show the actual figure? The toys look pretty cool, but this ad's just a little bit awkward. This ad I really enjoy. Spider-Man's debut rock album. It's called Reflections of a Superhero, and apparently it's the biggest rock event of the decade. This is super weird, and I can only imagine what the music is like. Either way, it's cheap and features cover art drawn by John Romita himself. Alright, I don't even know what this ad is doing in a comic book. I guess everyone thinks about what they're going to do when they retire and how they plan to do so, but not when you're a kid. I guess this ad is geared towards the older comic book fans. Just like that guy there, John B. Halkey. This one looks pretty cool. A contest for the Superman 3 movie. You can win an Atari console, the Great Superman comic collection, movie soundtrack, and Superman peanut butter? That's pretty strange. I don't know if even I would try that. Alright, here we go. Advanced Dungeons & Dragons cartridge for the Intellivision. You're battling a huge dragon on a stone bridge over a pit of orange water. It's pretty wild, right? It is until you look down in the corner at that screenshot and you just know this game is probably going to suck. This ad was just too much for me to take in. I refused to look up the trailer on the internet because I just didn't want to be let down. It's not that I think Megaforce wouldn't be a good film, it's just that I'm in awe of the splash page of action. Am I man enough for Megaforce? I don't know, but I kind of want a membership. Here's another movie ad. Obviously it's from the 80s. I remember watching this as a kid and immediately wanting to pick up a skateboard. And watching the trailers today, it still makes me want to pick up my skateboard. It was a super cheesy movie, but it did have some cool skaters in it like Christian Hosoi and Tony Hawk. Here I'm looking at the ad on the bottom. Be a draftsman, get a free kit. All you have to do is send in money every month for a newsletter. I don't know how things were in the late 70s, but this is pretty hokey. I wonder how many people actually sent in for this kit and expected to get a job. It's cute, but probably completely useless. This one is interesting. Be a grit salesman? It used to be a weekly newspaper circulated around the United States, but it always made me think about the food grits. There are cool prizes to be had, but as a Canadian it just sounded bizarre. And that kid in the bottom corner always creeped me out. Okay, an ad for photo IDs and birth certificates, and it's not endorsed by the local government. All you have to do is send in $5 and your personal information. This sounds pretty illegal, and I wonder how many kids try to get fake IDs so they can buy a 6-pack on their way to the comic book store. And finally, this looks like something I would actually want. How cool would it be to have an 8mm and Super 8 movie viewer? If you were a budding filmmaker, this would be an awesome editing tool. Well, maybe not, but I know if I had this as a kid, I would probably love it. Man-eating shark's teeth that are over 50 million years old. That's a pretty outrageous claim, but hell, for $4 you could get 5 teeth. A good deal is a good deal. Personally, I was a big fan of the original Jaws movie, so I probably would have been into this, even though sharks in the ocean freaked me out. And this ad just has a straight up racist undertone. Self-defense American style? I like how it points out that this is the American way, not the Oriental. And what's with that picture? It looks like that man is in a full body cast and the kid is feeding him something. Just poorly done. This is one of my favorites. It's so blunt and to the point, but what else do you need? I bet the Red Cross got a ton of donations after running this ad. Who wouldn't donate money if Bill Cosby told you to? If anything, I'd say this ad helps to solidify Bill as a cultural icon of our generation. Alright, growing up as a chubby kid, I did not like running into these ads. Put weight on? I was trying to take weight off. It was ridiculous. This was a tough one to take back when I was young, especially when the next page featured several ads for delicious Hostess snack cakes. Assholes. And here we are at the last ad, number 16. I chose this one to be last for a couple of reasons. First, The Empire Strikes Back is my favorite Star Wars movie, and second, that playset looks awesome. I love that scene in the movie, and look at Luke and Yoda. They're having a deep conversation, and I kind of want in on that. Okay, I had a lot of fun putting this presentation together, and I have to say that my first Pecha Kucha experience turned out to be a good one. The comics I chose to go through for this assignment were some of my favorites, and it was pretty great that I was able to mix pleasure with work. The only downside is that I got a little tired of hearing my own voice, but that's pretty normal, right? I hope you enjoyed going through all of the various zany advertisements that I could find. I certainly enjoyed putting them together, and thanks a lot for listening, and I commend you for making it to the end of this presentation. That is all, and thanks again.